I'm going to introduce Ryan Martin from Syntech on stage. He was actually just demoing stuff before to me, and I was actually absolutely amazed at it. So to all of the schools, there's a chat function on your right. You're welcome to say hello and welcome. There's also a questions tab if you have any questions. We might not get to the questions in this live, but the speakers will be able to answer them and just type in afterwards. Ryan, welcome. It's great to have you on board with us as our first speaker.
Thank you, Pete. Thanks very much for the opportunity, and hello to the schools. Cool. So I've got a couple of projects that I want to just showcase, and just a bit of background. Syntech is historically an electronics distribution company. We're about 20 years old and have always prided ourselves on bringing in industry-leading technology and products into South Africa, and started entering into PPE products right at the beginning of the year when we saw the epidemic unfolding in China. So our mandate in this situation is really to try and help as far as possible. It's not our core business, but we have made a decision to make every effort to help South Africans in every way we can. And through a lot of the initiatives that we've put in place already, we were able to donate about 60,000 masks to the Department of Health last month. Today, I just want to show you some of the products and hopefully provide a bit of education if it can help you make an informed decision on how to keep your learners and your teachers safe. So maybe first up is the infrared thermometers. We sourced a really market-leading brand called Simzo, and I've seen a lot of junk come into the South African market in the thermometer space. And one of the things I have to say is this is your first line of defense in letting people into the school. So it makes sense to ensure that the product is great. What we really liked about this one is that it has 3 color-coded LCD sensors. So as the temperature is detected, it'll either give a green for fine, orange for maybe a little bit risky, and red for highly dangerous. So I'll just try and test it on myself here, and you can see I'm 37 degrees. And let's just, as an example, try and test it on a lighter, and you can see it goes red. So it's a very straightforward thing. There's 2 settings, one for water and one for faces. Anybody can operate it, and it just requires 2 AAA batteries to function.
So Ryan, can I just make mention of one thing? Sure. We checked in with a school that Ryan has recently sold to, so Amity up in Joburg, who bought, I think, about 10 of them. And we just said, listen, what has your experience been? And they responded back with 2 simple words, and it was just excellent service, exclamation mark, I think. So I think from our side, we can really back. We know a lot of schools have been provided with some hand thermometers that might not be working. I think with Syntech and their team, it's a reliable product, and it's a reliable company that you can go back to.
Thanks very much, Pete. So just to elaborate on that, we've put together a sub-site, medical.syntech.co.za, and then we've also issued a coupon which will be 20% discount of any of those listed prices for any of the Schoolscape attendees that joined today. And obviously these products are going through our normal reseller channel, so they're in the retailers, and everything comes with a 1-year warranty on all the electronics. So if you do ever have an issue with this product, it'll just be a straightforward replacement, which we hope adds a little bit of value. Then, Pete, if I can just jump onto masks, and this has always been a touchy subject, where globally the standard has been the use of medical grade FDA-approved masks with the appropriate certificates and CE certificates. But in South Africa, I think because of access to funds, there's been a really big focus on cloth masks. And my opinion is that cloth masks are absolutely better than nothing, but there are flaws. And I want to just walk you through a couple of different masks that are available so that you can make an informed decision for your schools. So I've got a few here, and we've also got a lot of documented information with reference to independent studies on our website where you can go and research further. That does a lot of comparisons in terms of the effectiveness of the various masks. So Obviously, a cloth mask is straightforward. Most people are wearing them. They're great for running. They're great for being out there, and they're absolutely better than nothing. But a lot of people don't realize that most material actually attracts, as it gets statically charged, it actually attracts particles. And if they take on moisture as you breathe into it, they can start to develop bacteria in the mask. So it's very important that they're washed. The other thing I want to just demonstrate is a basic example of how effective masks are in controlling the flow in and out of your mouth. Here's a standard cloth mask. It doesn't cover, most of them don't have something to fix it around your nose, but also they do let quite a large amount of air through. And on one of the studies, we saw that cloth masks are around about, on average, 14% in terms of effectiveness of controlling. Just give you a basic example that someone in our team showed me the other day. So here's a standard lighter, and I can just blow that out. So you can very clearly see that there is flow still taking place. This is a standard 3-ply mask, and I think the major reason why the government, apart from funds, wanted to make sure that people stuck to cloth masks is that they didn't want the 3-ply medical masks to go towards public. We've been very clear in making sure that all of the masks that we bring in are civilian grade, and then we've got a separate part number entirely for which we're supplying government and all of their medical requirements. So fitting a mask is quite important, making sure that it does cover your nose, and there's a metal piece at the top of the mask which just helps you secure everything in place. I want to show you the same test. So there's that.
Wow.
That same lighter, and you can see that it really does restrict the flow of air. And obviously the microns and the various size microns, there's a lot more detail that you can refer to on our website. Our team has been using these extensively in the office, and we found that they're a lot easier to function and to breathe with for long periods of time because they don't get wet. One thing to remember is all of the medical grade masks are disposable. So after using them for a day, I would recommend that classrooms should all have a box of the disposable 3-ply masks. They come in a box of 50. They're relatively inexpensive. And obviously, if a mask gets wet or damaged or broken, it makes sense to have a backup. So even though most of the students will be working with cloth masks, I think it's a really good solution. Our business is standardized on 3-ply, and we issue these to our staff every single day. The last mask I want to show you is a KN95. This is a civilian grade mask. So there are KN95s which the medical professionals use, and then this is the civilian, which is effectively the same quality, but China's put in place some really strong regulations to ensure that they are going to the right places. So this mask effectively has a 95% control in terms of what it blocks out. It fits far more snugly, but lets way less air into the mouth, so it's a little harder to breathe in. This is something every school has in their sick bays, and if there's nurses that are treating kids, because they're going to be the most exposed. So this is something that I would recommend, and obviously the flow of these is really great. Everything that you've seen here is available on our website, and you can see a lot more information. We've got a dedicated sales team that is available to assist with any queries, and obviously I'll remain on the chat if you have any further queries. One last time, that coupon code is Schoolscape 0610.